Continuing with our Seattle teams battling Texas, it seems to be a trend lately. The Mariners played the Astros lately, and they're playing the Rangers this next few days. The Storm played Phoenix, doesn't count. The Sounders will play the Dynamo next week. Did I say? Oh, okay. And then the Kraken are playing the Stars currently. The Rain play Houston last week. So there seems to be a little Seattle, Texas thing going on here. We head over to our Kraken here, who began the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, going off against the Dallas Stars. So May 2nd at the Stars was a 5-4 win in overtime of game one. Our player of the game forward, Jordan Ebbs, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, a 2+- and 3 shots on the day. This game was wild. Seattle took a 4-2 lead out of the first intermission. Yes, 4-2, 6 total goals between the two teams. And I say Seattle versus the Stars in this one, but game one was really the Kraken versus Joe Pavelski as the forward who was coming back to play the first minutes of action he had seen in these Stanley Cup playoffs since going out injured after the first 10 minutes of game one in round one on a hit from Matt Dumba. Pavelski was able to score all 4 goals for Dallas, tie it up late with a little bit of luck on that last one. But nonetheless, it sent it to overtime. Jordan Eberle. I apologize. I'm thinking of the wrong overtime winner. Yanni Gourde got the overtime winner down in Dallas to take a big game one and steal home ice advantage. In game two, not so much of that. After playing a game 7 in Colorado and then coming down 2 days later to Dallas to play the Stars. Seattle finally looked sort of gassed. They didn't have that sort of relentless forecheck. They weren't as physical. And Dallas was just kind of pelting Philip Grubauer with shot after shot after shot. And then Carson Soucy made a bad penalty and gave the team power plays in an instance where they certainly did not need power plays. So that one was tough. Our player of the game forward, Ty Cartier, 1 goal, 1 point, a 1+-, 1 shot, 5 hits, and 1 block. Cartier's goal in the second period would cut things in half to make it a 2-1 game. Unfortunately, Dallas would pull away. Jordan Eberle scored the second one in the third period as things were basically winding down, sending us back to Seattle with a 1-1 series. May 7th versus the Stars, game 3 of the series, and the first one back in Seattle would be a 7-2 victory against the Stars. Yes, 7-2. We haven't seen that sort of goal output from the Kraken since their impressive and historic road trip that saw them sweep the road trip. And then back in November when things were going crazy against the Sharks and the Stars. Our player of the game, we have 2 players of the game here. Forward Matty Beniers. Matty, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, a 3+-, 3 shots, 1 hit, and 3 takeaways. Our second player of the game, defenseman Justin Schultz. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, a 3+-, 2 shots, and 2 blocks. We'll go over here to our photo of the game taken by Liv Lyons. Ellie Tolvanen here celebrates his goal right at the end of the second period, 37 ticks before the second intermission. Gets a nice embrace from Jamie Alexiak. As you can see here, Ryan Donato coming in to join that said embrace. So this was that was a wild game to see that all sort of take place. Nothing in the first period, kind of ironically. The Kraken had good energy, though. They had good offensive output, good forecheck. And they were easily the better team through the first 20 minutes. Just weren't able to get anything to go. They were a couple inches off here and there. And then in the second period, they really exploded for 5 goals to jump ahead. Dallas got one to make it 4-1 at one point. But then here, this Tolvanen goal that you see celebrated got Seattle back going again. The Stars pulled Jake Ottinger going in to the third period, but it wouldn't matter as Scott Wedgwood would give up 2 more goals to the Kraken before things were all said and done. It was interesting, though. I do want to note that head coach Dave Haxtell did say the score of this one doesn't matter. The result does, and now they have to get ready for game 4. So it's good to note, this was a really fun night. But now it's time to set your sights on game 4. So our player of the week for those first 3 games of this series against Dallas, I went with Jordan Eberle in this photo you see here taken by Liv also in that game 3. as Eberle scored the first goal of the game. Eberle, 3 goals, 2 assists, and 5 points through the first 3 games of the series. Eberle has scored in every game of the series so far, and continues to deliver for the Kraken in these playoffs. So I thought it made sense. A goal in each of the games really opened the floodgates for the Kraken in game 1. No, in game 3, pardon me. He scored the first of those 7 goals. And him and Maddie, I say Maddie, but him and Cartier are both rookies. Eberle and Cartier, I feel like, have helped make that adjustment period into the NHL a little bit easier. Obviously Cartier coming in, rookie of the year down in the AHL, coming in here scoring in his first game, had a big second goal. I was thinking, oh man, he might help the team lead a comeback in game 2, unable to do so. Records his first, I believe it was his first ever NHL assist in game 3 here. So he's had a nice little start to his career, but I want to help point out that his line, I'm sure, has helped out with that. And he got 2 pretty darn good line mates to do so with. So, yeah, I mean, this is a series that there's a little bit more worry, at least with the end of the season as well, is where the Kraken would end up with opponent wise, at least in the first round. And so they get Dallas in the second. Dallas has the depth, obviously, but Seattle's forecheck and their depth as well. And Philip Grubauer has shown that, hey, even in game 3 with all of the goals, Grubauer's play and the defensive play on the back end are really also what contributed to this team being able to go out and lay waste to Jake Ottinger. So I think they can hang with them. I really do. There was talks about, okay, they took care of Colorado. They slayed that beast. They made their upset. They're done. No, this Kraken team can hang with anybody, and they've shown that throughout the course of the year. They went in and beat Boston, and they arguably should have beat Boston in the second game that they played them here at Climate Pledge Arena. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs up in Toronto, which the way they're playing the Florida Panthers right now, it doesn't really matter with them. They were able to beat the Oilers in Edmonton. They were able to beat the Golden Knights in Las Vegas. They beat the Minnesota Wild here and up in Minnesota. The second game, they played them late in the year. Not so great. I'm trying to see going down the list. They didn't beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. They haven't ever beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. Who's still playing? Devils did not beat the Devils. I don't believe we beat Carolina this year. I could be wrong, but the point is made. This hockey team has shown that they could hang around with anybody in the National Hockey League. And just because these are series and the playoffs, I don't think that changes. I don't think that the 1-goal results from those impressive wins in the regular season say, oh, that's just a one-off, because we've seen now, and the rest of the league is seeing that this depth and this is a true team. I'm sure you could improve in a few spots. Sure, you could have a Jared McCann back. Andre Burakovsky is lurking somewhere, maybe at KCI, right? Think about that. If you were able to add a Jared McCann and an Andre Burakovsky, this team gets even better than where they are right now. You add those guys to the lines, and you take out guys. You have to take out 2 guys from the lineup who have been contributing, because everybody along this lineup, whether it's the 4 forward lines or the 3 defenseman pairings, have all been contributing. Philip Grubauer has been excellent in between the pipes, has been received unlimited criticisms throughout the course of the regular season. And even in that loss in game 2, there were some idiots who were criticizing him as well. So this is a complete team, and we have seen that. Anybody who has been watching the Kraken throughout the course of the year have seen that this is a complete team. Yes, they have weaknesses, and no, they cannot sustain it every single game that they play. But it's just been pretty impressive to see this, but also knowing that we know what they're capable of. So it's really great to see that. And I really do think that they have a really good shot against the Stars here. They obviously had to take care of business in game 4. Because I'm sure the Stars are going to want to answer, especially with how Jake Ottinger got chased out of that game. And I'm sure Dallas didn't really like getting blown out that badly. But it was, I do think this is all sustainable. So we move over here to, well, we'll start off in injury-related news. Firstly, there's been no updates really on Jared McCann from Coach Hackstall, or we're officially. He was on the ice on the 7th. Wait, no. On the 6th on a red no-contact jersey at practice. And then on morning skate of game 3, he was on the ice in a normal contact jersey, and he did practice with the team. So he may be available for game 4. There's nothing clear about that. He wasn't available for game 3, but I have to imagine with the white jersey that we may see him in game 4. That may be a possibility. So we'll move over here to wait, did that say? Yes. To May 1st against May 1st, pardon me, with team related news. Oh, it was here. We'll get it back here. 1 second. Excuse me. I apologize. There we go. The team signed goaltender Alice Stezka on a 1-year, 2-way contract for $950,000 AAV. There we go. There's Alice. Wee. Stezka, a 26-year-old goalie, posted a 25-win, 14-loss record with HC Vitkovice, which plays in the Czech Extraliga, the top men's professional league in Czechia, finishing the year with a .925 save percentage, a 2.14 goals against average, and 5 shutouts. He played in 39 of their games, helping them finish the year with 102 points, good for second in their division. He also appeared in 12 games during their postseason, finishing their playoff run with a 6-6 record, a .960 save percentage, and a 1.24 goals against average. His save percentage was the mark of any goaltender, the best mark, of any goaltender during the postseason that appeared in at least 10 games. The 6'4", 201-pound netminder has spent the last 6 seasons playing in Czechia's top and second-tier professional leagues. It'll be interesting to see where Stezka ends up. I imagine he might be with Coachella Valley next year. Maybe they don't bring back Chris Gibson. Obviously, Joey DeCourt's going to be there. Not entirely maybe AECHL. I know the KC Mavericks have Jake Starrett, and he's played really well with them, but he also had to carry a heavy workload. So maybe they'll want to stash him at the ECHL level. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, with the amount of AAV he's getting, I imagine he would join the Firebirds. So that'll be interesting. And also on May the 5th, it was announced that head coach Dave Haxtell was named the finalist for the Jack Adams Trophy for the NHL Coach of the Year. It was very interesting to it was very interesting to take a look at this. Henrik Lundqvist on the TNT broadcast said that while he believes that the Bruins head coach Montgomery will likely earn the honor because of the historic records that were set by this Bruins team, because of the President's Trophy, that he thinks that the Bruins coach will win it. He thinks that Haxtell should win it because of the impact that he brings as a head coach, because of the way that he impacts this team. And I would agree with it. I was kind of interested to see his name, Haxtell's name, on this list, considering how things went last year. And because, of Seattle's market, we don't typically get a lot of exposure often. But I honestly think if you factor in the most a coach has played into the results and the success of a team, Haxtell's got to be up there with that. And I think it makes the most sense because, again, this is a team without technically a true superstar. And to get the sort of effort and results you are out of all 4 lines, out of all 3D pairings, it's incredible, and it's the definition of a team effort. So that's my piece on that. In other league related news, on the weekend is eyeing an NHL team. The R&B star joins a bid for the Ottawa Senators, competing against bids that include Ryan Reynolds and Snoop Dogg. So that's interesting. I didn't really think I'd hear all 3 of those guys' names together for just about anything, let alone joining bids for the Ottawa Senators. So I'm interested to see how that plays out and who ultimately ends up being part of the ownership group for the Senators. So we look ahead here. The Kraken have a 2-1 series lead over the Stars in the second round Stanley Cup playoffs matchup. Their next games that are guaranteed to take place are Game 4 on May 9th versus the Stars here in Seattle with a 6:30 p.m. Pacific time puck drop. That will be on ESPN. And then Game 5 is May 11th at the Stars with a 6:30 p.m. puck drop. I know it says TBD determined on there, but we did get that. It's a 6:30 p.m. puck drop. That game is on TNT. If needed, Game 6 is on May 13th versus the Stars back here in Seattle. May 13th. That's to be determined. That will be on ESPN. And then Game 7, if necessary, is May 15th at the Dallas Stars, to be determined as well. I would prefer to not have to go to 7 games once again, friends. My heart cannot take it. It's a lot of stress. That's a lot of work.